Evil Dead from 2013 and Evil Dead Rise are two of the scariest films in the Evil Dead franchise, but which one is the best? What's going on, guys and gals, and welcome to Good Real Hunting, where today we're going to be doing our Slash It Out for Evil Dead from 2013 versus Evil Dead Rise, the brand new movie. Of course, we will be talking some spoilers on Evil Dead Rise, so if you haven't seen that, be cautious because we're going to be comparing these two movies. But this is going to be a fun matchup because these movies are actually very similar in tone and the atmosphere and things like that, Birdie. It should be a lot of fun today.
Dude, it should be an absolutely bloody carnage good time, man. Like I said, I can't remember which particular video or live stream I said this, but I honestly do believe that this is going to be the most difficult Slash It Out of all of Slash It Out history. That is how scared I am, because I have no idea who's going to win this.
If you guys haven't seen our last Slash It Out with The Evil Dead versus Evil Dead 2, go back and check that out. That was a lot of fun a couple weeks ago. Of course, you guys allowed for The Evil Dead to win that matchup, but today we're going to do something a little bit different to determine the winner. It's going to be a lot of fun. But let's get into this comparison here for these two movies. The Tale of the Tape, Birdie.
Woohoo, man, a sexy tape. Sorry, again, I'm just so nervous about this matchup. It's not because it's Evil Dead, because Evil Dead is indeed a scary franchise. It's just I honestly don't know what's going to win. And man, look at these numbers already, man. And guys, just to let you all know, this is just as per this video, the numbers for Evil Dead Rise. Just expect these numbers to freaking just boot it up. I was just saying right now, Evil Dead Rise is going to crush all the records that Evil Dead does within the franchise.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. It's off to a good start. And, it's got 20 points on both Rotten Tomatoes scores, man. Audience and critics, 84 and 80 for Evil Dead Rise and 63 and 64 for Evil Dead. So that's a lot of fun. And yeah, the budgets were very similar. Actually, the budget for Evil Dead Rise says 12 million, but it hasn't been confirmed. I think I've seen numbers upwards of 20. So it's been pretty close in budget and everything. But overall, people seem to enjoy both of these movies.
Yeah, man, and friggin' Evil Dead Rise, before it even hit the theater, was already certified fresh by Rotten Tomatoes, which I thought that was very unusual. That rarely does happen. So, you know what? And again, I think this movie deserves it, but I think its opponent, Evil Dead, deserves a certified fresh too. But we're not Rotten Tomato critics. We're the real critics.
Got that right, my friend. Hell yeah. All right, let's talk about both of these movies have a lot of good moments within them. What's your most memorable moment from Evil Dead and Evil Dead Rise, my friend?
Ooh, man. So I'd say the best moment has to be the third act of the Evil Dead 2013 with Mia fighting her evil side Deadite. And just with the blood ring and all that, I think that's just that whole third act was just so memorable. Like when you say Evil Dead 2013, that's immediately what you think of. But for Evil Dead Rise, a lot of freaking great moments in this one as well. But for some reason, the one I always go back to is just when Mother Deadite is just playing mind games with him, going eeny, meeny, money. Like, just to me, that just got me really nervous in the theater. So that always just gets me the heebie-jeebies, man.
Yeah, man, I agree, man. I think for me, I got to go with... I agree with you on Evil Dead 2013. It's the chainsaw, raining blood, freaking chaos at the end. It's really visually outstanding. And in Rise, I think I'm going to go with the elevator sequence, man. That's the one that, to me, that is the most memorable. Not the one where the girl gets possessed, but the one where it fills up with blood and tumbles down, and they have that kind of shining shot at the end of that. That was just a cool moment, man. But there are a lot of other good ones from the movie as well, so that could change. But
from both
first time view, yeah, man, first time view, that's the best for me. All right, let's go ahead and get into these categories, Birdie Lagurdy. Let's start with the story of Evil Dead versus Evil Dead Rise.
All right, man. Again, this is going to be very competitive. I'm telling you, all these are going to be freaking competitive. I'll keep repeating that. So, you can make a drinking game out of this if you want to. But for the story of Evil Dead 2013, simple story of Mia trying to get herself clean from drugs, and she's seeing all this crazy stuff happen, and then her friends don't believe her because they think it's just like the side effect of her not having her drugs, which I think that's a very compelling story of following her character from beginning to end of this movie, especially where she's a Deadite. So she has to go through a lot. But I think to me, for best story, I have to go with Evil Dead Rise because nothing tells a strong story like family, man. Like my boy Van Diesel says, it's all about family. No, it's seriously, Fo. Like with Beth, like it was kind of revealed at the beginning that she's going to become a mom, and she's hanging around with her sister's children, kind of learning like how to be a mother and all that. So I think Evil Dead Rise tells a better story.
You know, I actually am going to disagree with you on this one, man. I think I do like the story in Evil Dead Rise. The more I thought about it, out of the theater, I was like, yeah, the story's better. But now thinking back a couple weeks after I've seen the movie, there really isn't much of a story. It's just them hanging out and then the Evil Dead Rise and, you know, shit hits the fan. So there's not much of a story to the movie, which is fine. I do like the family dynamic, which we'll get into later for a little bit farther for me. But I like the story. I like the twist they put on the 2013 movie. The whole the drug detox thing. Let's go get our friend sober and shit hits the. I like that. That's a good twist they put on the original movie. You know, that really kind of makes it feel different from the first movie and gives the characters a reason for being there. So I mean, yeah, I think the story I think the story kind of, you know, eventually runs out of steam in that movie, but you know, it's there, it's good, it's a good setup. So I'm going to actually go with Evil Dead 2013.
You make a great point of it. It's just, guess that's why I guess I'm picking Evil Dead Rise, is because, like you said, the steam of the story from Evil Dead 2013 kind of loses it. Well, I felt like Evil Dead Rise kind of maintains that family aspect of like the story behind it from beginning to end.
Okay, well, both these movies have two very different settings. Evil Dead has the cabin in the woods kind of vibe from the first movie, and then Evil Dead Rise comes in, brings us a city setting in a high rise. So which one of these two settings do you prefer, Birdie? Or do you actually, you know what, I can go first this time. You went
yeah,
first
go first on this. I'm curious of what you're going to go with here.
So this is tough, actually, because I do love the new setting in Evil Dead Rise. I think they did a really good job with it. It did a good job of feeling fresh for the franchise. I think that's a good thing, because that's, you know, again, that's something we haven't seen before. But you just can't beat the cabin in the woods vibes. Like, I know we've seen it 100 times by the time Evil Dead 2013 came out, but it's still such a good classic setting that, yes, I'm glad they moved away from it, because you can't keep doing the same thing. But at the same time, it's just so good. It's such an isolated environment, a place you don't want to be, especially when Deadites hit the fan. And when you throw this cabin into the mix, it's creepy as shit. It's all messed up. So again, I think I'm going to have to go with 2013 on this one, just because it's more classic.
Yeah, you know what? Great points, man. But my thought process is, yeah, you definitely don't want to be in that cabin, just because that's where most of the danger is and Deadites within this franchise. But dude, what Evil Dead Rise did, it's like, hey, we're taking away the cabin wood environment, and we're letting y'all know Deadites can be anywhere at any time as long as their freaking book is around. We've done the cabin thing so many times, so I'm going to go with the high rise, man. I thought they did an excellent job setting the tone and the atmosphere of the high rise, making it feel all gross and nasty looking. Like the apartments look fine and all that, like they just look like normal apartments, but you could just tell once you open that door and enter that room, there's just like a really darkness into it that you really couldn't just explain until you put a freaking Deadite in there. You're like, this is where it gets to the dark stuff. So I'm going with Evil Dead Rise with the setting.
Okay, man, I like it. We're so far we're split.
I'm telling you, man, I'm nervous.
All right, let's talk about the characters, man. Both of these movies, in my opinion, don't really have the strongest of characters, but they both have their moments. Birdie, which one do you prefer in this category, my man?
Man, this is tough again, just because like for a group, I go with Evil Dead Rise, but for an individual character, you gotta go with Mia from 2013. But the question of this particular category is called characters. So I'm going to go with Evil Dead Rise for that, just because I feel like you're more invested into these group of characters more than you are with the characters in 2013. But trust me, don't get me wrong. If we just say character, Mia takes the cake without any question, even though I thought Mother Deadite and Beth did a really good job in Evil Dead Rise with their characters. But if we're talking about a core group of characters, it's Evil Dead Rise.
Hell to the yeah, man. I'm inclined to agree with you here. Like you mentioned earlier, Evil Dead Rise has that family dynamic to the characters. It adds some stakes. You get these little kids in here involved for the first time. Take the fact that the mother is the Deadite, just turns everything up on its head, makes it extra little scary. It makes it extra scary, and it makes you care about these characters all the way throughout. In Evil Dead 2013, I did like Mia a lot. I thought she was really good. The rest of the characters, aside from the nurse, she was good too. Sucked ass. I don't remember any of their names. The one dude was just reading from the book the whole time while their friend was out there getting who knows what was going on out there. Some chaos was hitting the fan, and he's just in there just reading his book, and they're dumb. And by the time shit hits the fan in that movie 2013, I don't really care what's going on because I don't care about any of these characters. I mean, there's people freaking, hitting people in the eye with needles, but I don't care. This one girl cuts her arms off. I'm like, I didn't even know she was here until just this moment, and she's in here cutting the arm off. I'm like, why? Yeah, you should have stayed home. So, for absolutely characters by a long shot. Evil Dead Rise. Beth, is it Beth? Yeah, she was really good, especially towards the end when her and the youngest daughter were running off together. I thought that was a good little duo, and they had some good moments together. And yeah, I really enjoyed the characters more. Again, still not perfect characters, but they were more enjoyable in Evil Dead Rise for me.
Yeah, dude, absolutely agree with you on that. And yeah, just that random girl you talk about from 2013, just like her arm, she was just hanging around.
She was hanging around, man. She didn't need to be. She needed to be home with everybody else. Okay, so we talked about the characters. Now let's talk about the opposite end. Let's talk about the Deadites in these two movies, man. Evil Dead 2013 gave us more Deadites. It gave us more to pick from and stuff like that throughout the movie. There was a lot of carnage with them, which we'll get into again. But dude, I honestly think the mom here in Evil Dead Rise is probably the best. And I know you're probably I don't want to steal your excitement about her because I know you love her too. So I won't speak too much on it. I'll save some for you. But she was creepy, dude. She played some of the best mind games. And again, just having that connection to the victims, the kids, being their mom just added a little bit to it. They did a lot of creepy things with her.
Nothing a big old hug and kiss from you won't fix.
One of my favorite moments was when she was dead on the bed and they were putting and flies were landing on her eyes and they were trying to close her eyes. God, I'm such a dead on the bed, flies on the eyes. What the hell is going on around here?
All right, Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, she was outstanding and all that. And she was really like the main Deadite. There was a couple more throughout, but she was the best. And she was the one that, she carried this whole movie and she did a damn good job.
Ellie, I believe is her name. Yeah, Ellie. So Ellie Deadite definitely is the best Deadite I've ever seen in this entire franchise.
You're so loud, you pathetic fuck!
Man, I've never been creeped out by one Deadite than Mother Deadite, man.
You shall die!
Especially where she does the contortionist walk and like in the elevator or in the bathroom where she's just like that. She's a contortionist, man. Like, so that's what adds another layer to this particular Deadite, where it makes, because again, the more real something can be, the more scarier it is. And when she just adds those little mechanisms of how she walks and how she portrays facial, like everything, man, that just makes such a big difference. But with 2013, like, I thought the makeup effects and all that were really good, and I thought they looked really scary, but I just felt like there was just too many of them while focusing on like one particular one. If you kind of know what I'm kind of getting at with that. So that's why I'm going with Evil Dead Rise with the best Deadite.
Hell yeah. Don't forget about when she turned into that big monster at the end, too, when all the Deadites kind of came together.
Yeah,
and
man, and that's never been seen before. So.
And that was so much better compared to the third act of Evil Dead 2013 is awesome visually. But I don't even know what the fuck that little girl crawling out of the dirt was. Like, I don't even know what was going on with that. This one in Evil Dead Rise, when she came together and became the octopus looking thing or whatever the hell it was way cooler than that in the third act, because they actually duked it out. Still same effect, the chainsaw to the gullet, throwing in a freaking grinder, whatever it is. She ain't coming back. She's not going to be in Evil Dead, 6 or whatever the next movie is, because of the fact that was the mom added so much more to that instead of some random ass clone coming out of the ground and doing weird shit. Let's talk about the kills and carnage, man, in these things. What do you think about this category? Because they both have plenty of it. One of them has a cheese grater. One of them has one of those little carver things for your meat.
Yeah, like the freaking cutter thing with the meat, man. But man, I'm actually, here we go, man. 2013, I'm getting ready to support you right here. With just the kills and the carnage, I feel like 2013, and Brad, I'm pretty sure you're going to say this too, so if I steal this for your opinion on this, I apologize. But definitely, there's just like 2013 does not hold back at all. They just go balls to the wall with everything from the kills, the carnage, the blood spilling, just freaking arms hanging, freaking carving your face, and the scolding from a hot shower, which, trust me, I feel like everybody has a damn fear of that. But I feel like Evil Dead Rise still has some really good kills and all that, and like cool practical effects. But the thing is, I just felt like they could have done more. We need more cheese grater. Like, we need more of the grater. Like, just one slash to the leg does not cut it. If you get the cheese grater to 2013, it would have used it to the most absolute, like, to the top of the top limit, man. So more cheese grater. So I'm giving this to Evil Dead 2013.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you, man. They did some cool things in Evil Dead Rise, like you said. When you compare it to 2013, man, I don't know if anything will beat this one, save from maybe the first movie that just got crazy. It was gore galore, is what you could call it. That's the subtitle for this movie. There were, like you said, needles to eyeballs. That poor guy with the glasses, the dumbass that read the book, he got torn up in more ways than I could imagine. Like, you thought freaking your boy from Scream got a lot and walked away from it. This guy, holy shit, man, he just kept coming back. I was like, what the fuck? Not to mention all the crazy stuff Mia was doing in the basement with the razors in her tongue and all that good stuff. That stuff was nasty too.
Box cutters.
Yeah, dude. It was a lot, and that's really what this movie really leaned into. The third act is all gore. The second and third act, really, both of them, it's all just gore at that point. So, yeah, that's what it is, and that's good. I think it's going to take this category all day.
Dude, and I'll go ahead and give you a kind of like an underrated scene too, but I feel like gets overlooked a lot is when Mia's running from her evil dead-eyed self and having the machete, and the machete is just dabbing through like the walls, and she gets her leg and it just slides. Oh my god, like that's the most cringe moment in the entire franchise. Like,
don't forget, that and when the Jeep falls on her arm too, she has to rip her hand out, and her hand comes off. The practical effect looks amazing when they do that. Yeah, that was awesome. And then she became the second person to lose a hand at this cabin. Okay, so what? I mean, it comes down to the overall enjoyment, though, man. Yeah, I mean, they're both very solid entries into the Evil Dead franchise, but I tend to enjoy, because of the other reasons we talked about, I think I'm enjoying Evil Dead Rise a bit more, just because of the characters, the family dynamic. The Deadite is really, just outstanding, the main one there. So I think my overall enjoyment goes with this one. I felt myself more invested in this movie all the way through than I did Evil Dead 2013, which kind of lost steam for me about 2/3 of the way in every time I've watched it since the first time. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go with Evil Dead Rise on this.
Okay, and for me, Evil Dead Rise, I just want to bring this up because I feel like we have not for this particular slash it out, but damn, the beginning of this movie really just sets the tempo of everything, man. And it just sets up that kickstart to the overall enjoyment of this movie, especially we get one of the most sexiest title cards in horror movie history. And I enjoy Evil Dead Rise for what it is, but just the more I think about it, it's just back from the carnage and the kills. Like, if I'm gonna use that, that's why I enjoy in the Evil Dead franchise is all the kills and the carnage, and I feel like I get that more with 2013 than Evil Dead Rise. So, in a surprising upset at the moment, because again, this could change with like a second viewing of Evil Dead Rise, I'm going with Evil Dead 2013 on overall enjoyment.
Oh, wow. That is a surprise,
because there's
man.
more carnage candy in it.
Yeah, no, that's true, man. I can respect that. That's what you come for these movies for, and you get more of it there. That's for sure.
But yeah, like, what's the better movie? It's Evil Dead Rise, in my opinion. But just, again, overall enjoyment, Evil Dead 2013.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's a good, I mean, yeah, you don't want to, I tend to get excited about, recency bias is a thing for real. I did definitely I found myself digging this one more, man. You can rank this franchise any way you want, and you're going to be right. Like, they're all so good. They all have different things about them. And if you're about carnage and candy, Evil Dead 2013 is the place for you to be, man. All right, let's give. So we kind of talked about all the categories and stuff. Let's talk about our personal thoughts and rating before we decide who the winner is here.
2013, just again, the carnage in it is just such a good time. You can't help but like definitely want to play it on replay. Mia definitely one of the strongest, possibly this, I would say even the second best character within the entire franchise, because who we kidding? He ain't going to be Ash Williams, our boy, because he's just one groovy dude. But so 2013 is absolutely a great time. I loved it on the latest rewatch we did when we did the movie commentary with it. So I give Evil Dead 2013 a 4.5 out of 5. And then Evil Dead Rise, man, what a surprise, man. I was so worried about this movie getting overhyped, but I'll be honest, I think it absolutely deserves the hype that it's getting, and I'm glad us as the horror fans and the horror community were able to get this movie from HBO Max into the theater, because I feel like this movie deserves to be shown at a theater, and I think it's great. Beth, fantastic. Mother Deadite, fantastic. This movie, really damn solid. So I will also give Evil Dead Rise a 4.5 out of 5 as well.
Hell yeah, dude. Nice numbers. I agree with a lot of the things you said there, so I'll give you my rating here. I think the first one I'm going to give a 4, 2013. I'm going to give that a 4. Really still enjoy it, but again, just, you know, it does lose steam. Evil Dead Rise, I'm going to give it a 4.25. I think I maybe gave it a 4.5 right out of the theater. I can't remember, but 4.25 I think is a good landing point for it. And of course, once it comes out, I'm going to see it a few more times and kind of see if anything changes. But I think 4.25 is a good spot for it, so I'm going to give it the slight edge there. Let's see the results here. Evil Dead Rise is actually going to take this one away. Let's go over the breakdown real quick of how we voted. Kills, we both gave that to Evil Dead 2013. Of course, you can't go wrong with that. Gory as hell. Story, I actually went with 2013. Brett Man went with Evil Dead Rise. Split decision there. Setting was also split, where I gave that to Evil Dead 2013, and Bertie Laguerty gave that to the Skyscraper, or the High Rise, whatever you want to call it. Deadites, we unanimously picked Evil Dead Rise because of Mama Deadite there. Characters as well. That family dynamic was epic. We both picked that. Enjoyment, we were split down the middle. I went with Evil Dead Rise. Bertie went with Evil Dead. And the total 7 points went to Evil Dead Rise and 5 to Evil Dead. That was a close matchup. Despite all the good talk about Evil Dead Rise, it came within one decision of being tied. So the winner, of course, is Evil Dead Rise. Bertie, what do you think?
Dude, man, I told you, man, I feel like this was the most difficult Slash It Out in the history of Slash It Out. And, dude, this absolutely did not disappoint, man. So I am not going to, like, I'm not upset, but I can easily see both, like, it could go either way. So I'm honestly, do you know what we need to freaking do? Like, I know we kind of gave our results, but I want to hear the people, man. What do you decide on this particular Slash It Out? We're going to be putting out a poll within the next couple of days as per this video when it is released. So we want to hear from you all. What do you all think is better? Do you want to go on the side of 2013 with Evil Dead? Or do you want to rise up to the occasion and go with Evil Dead Rise? Let us know in the comment section down below. And also, again, wait for that poll so we can get that discussion rolling.
Yes, and if you want to help us find the good reels and join us for more Slash It Outs, all of our socials are right down in the description. Go out there, check them out. That Patreon link's down there as well, where you can recommend a Slash It Out episode in the future. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. Rock and roll.
Absolutely. So until then, please, we cannot express this enough. Do not read random ass books made out of human skin and written in blood. Until then, I'm sure y'all won't do that. But until then, we'll see y'all for the next Slash It Out.
Peace out.